Hi guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you who are new here, I am Wanjiru Waithaka, a published author based in Kenya. We have a saying in Africa that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, the same is true for an author. It takes a village to raise an author. And I mentioned in my comeback video that one of the things that I was really grateful about, actually my word for this year is gratitude. First for having survived 2024, but also I realized in February that my second novel, Duel in the Savanna, I released it in 2015. So this year we'll be marking 10 years of that book release. So one of the things that I wanted to do is to do a gratitude series, It Takes a Village. And in so doing, you will actually get to meet and to see some of the angels that God has sent me to help me on my writing journey. But also you will actually get a very good sense of what it takes to make and to create an author. Because I'm sure, how does someone just wake up and decide to get a book idea in their head, and from having that idea in their head to actually, writing and publishing a book, it's a very, very long process, and sometimes it takes years. So this will be the first video in that series. I usually shoot the videos in my house because I actually work from home, but today I wanted to just experience a different environment. So today we're actually shooting at Feather Residences. This is a serviced apartment on Tikoni Road, somewhere near Yaya Center, actually walking distance from Yaya Center. And I'm so grateful to have this space. So Feather Residences is a really beautiful space. Not only is it convenient, even if you're using public transport, it's very easy to access. But it's a 2-bedroom apartment with a very spacious kitchen, a laundry area, and each of the bedrooms is en suite. I think one of the things I like most about it is just the sheer amount of light, because it has such big windows, and of course it is beautifully furnished. I want to say a big thank you to my friend Mwende Muna, who in many ways is one of the key members of my village. I went to primary school with Mwende, Precious Blood Secondary School in Rirota, and then after that we went to the same University of Nairobi. We both did BCom, and we've been friends for, must be more than 40 years. So when I called her up and I told her, because I live 50 kilometers away from the Nairobi CBD, for those of you who don't know. So when I have to come to Nairobi, I have to make special arrangements. So when I told her, Mwende, I'm looking for a place to shoot, do you mind giving us some space? And she was like, yeah, no problem, don't worry about it. So I'm so grateful to have friends like that. The first member of my village is somebody I grew up with. This was a neighbor in Langata, and he lived a few minutes from our house. So one day he was showing me how to make a baked chicken. So I was actually in their home, and so we were in that process. When you're putting, when you're marinating chicken and then you put in a bowl, unaweka spices, paprika, and all of that. So that's the process. That's where we had reached. And then out of the blue, I remember I just told him, I'm thinking of writing a book. And the minute I said the words, I regretted them, because that was the first time I had ever articulated my desire that, this is something I'd been thinking about. And in my head, in the minute or so before he responded, what was going through my mind was, hey, this guy is going to laugh at me, because, who do you think you are? You think you'll be the next Shakespeare or Ngugi wa Thiong'o, who is a very famous author. So I just braced myself, waiting for this guy to laugh at me, but he didn't. I remember he stopped what he was doing, and then he turned to face me, and then he said, Shiro, if there is a book inside you, I think you should write it. And I was so stunned. Honestly, I was so surprised. I didn't know what to say. So I just kept quiet. And he continued. He turned back to his chicken and he finished whatever we was doing. We didn't even say anything else about that. We continued, we made the chicken and then we ate. And then after that, I just walked back home. And I remember as I was walking back back home, I was all of 18, as I mentioned. So it was that I had finished high school. So there was that 1 year period before now you join the university. That's when this event was happening. And as I was walking home, I kept thinking, what? It was such a, what's the word? Like a validation that someone actually thinks you have it in you to write a whole book like Ngugi wa Thiong'o, and Obviously, I didn't like immediately start writing and go out and write a book and get it published. It took years. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in later videos. But when I was just reflecting on my journey and I was thinking about this neighbor, and I kept thinking, what would have happened if he had actually like laughed at me or belittled me or told me you're joking, stop dreaming, come back, to the real world? Would that have killed my dream? Or was the dream strong enough that, somehow it would have overcome anything that anyone threw at me? I guess we'll never know. But my point in telling this story is, obviously, that kind of affirmation, And as I said, it's interesting that I told a neighbor, not anybody who's close to me or anybody in my family, but clearly I was so terrified of even saying it out. Maybe that's why I chose somebody who's not as close to me. But I'll forever be grateful for what he said. And I just want to tell you who's watching that I think of him as a dream catcher. Okay, there are two kinds of people in the world. They are what we call dream catchers and they are dream killers. Those people who maybe you go and tell them, you imagine a child coming and telling you they want to be an astronaut, or they want to be the president one day, or they want to be the Pope, who we've lost, so unfortunately, just this week. But I keep thinking there are people who will immediately tell that child, that's not possible. That dream is too big. What are you talking about? No one in this family has even ever gone to university or to college. Just be realistic, stick with what they know. And unfortunately, a lot of people's dreams get killed like that. So ever since that meeting, I think subconsciously, I've always tried to be that person who, I don't have children of my own, but I have a lot of nephews, nieces, and even friends. And I try to be that person, even if I don't understand what your dream entails. It might sound pretty, so far-fetched, I can't even imagine what it would get to achieve it. But then I keep reminding myself, everybody was put on earth for a reason and a purpose by God. I firmly believe that. And you don't know what somebody's reason and purpose for being here is. And you don't know what dreams and what plans that God has for that person. So I just purpose to, if someone comes to me with such a dream, I encourage them. If I can't do anything to help them, then I just pray for them. That in some way I can be a help to them and I don't hurt them in the attaining of that dream. And now speaking specifically, if especially for parents. So I want to say a big thank you to this neighbor who probably does not even recall that conversation because that was such a long time ago. Maybe it did not really mean anything to me, but to him, but to me it meant everything. And it just goes to show that people will always remember, especially when you're young and impressionable, people will always remember the things you say to them or the way, you treat them. So I want to conclude by quoting one of my favorite authors. His name is Khalil Gibran. He's a Lebanese poet, philosopher, and artist from the 19th century. And I want to quote from the Prophet. And these are words which I've always found so profound in his approach to how you treat especially children. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you, for life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. So to conclude, I hope that if you're listening and watching this, that you will purpose to be a dream catcher and not a dream killer, that if your children, your nephews or your nieces, or indeed even your friends, come to you with a dream, because I'm a firm believer that it's never too late, to have a dream. And there are people who rediscover and reinvent themselves in their 30s and their 40s, even in their 50s. We see it all the time. So when they come to you, just be that safe haven where they can tell you their dreams, and they will come away from you refreshed, re-energized, rearing to go, all that good stuff, and not discouraged, depressed, and defeated because, you have effectively killed their dream with words. As there's that saying, what is that common saying? Words and sticks and stones will kill my bones, but words will never. Whoever said that was an idiot. They did not know the power of words. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. And please share it so that other people can discover my work. I would like to say a big thank you to Mwende and her team at Trianum, the ones who manage our Feather Residences, for hosting us in this space. And watch out for my next video, which will be showcasing this apartment, 2-bedroom apartment. You'll be able to see it in all its beautiful glory. And if you're looking for a space to do a shoot, a space to just have a nice, quiet, workplace meetings, especially if you live and work outside Nairobi, this is definitely the place for you. It is affordable. They have lots of parking. It has Wi-Fi. It has everything you need. And they even have a backup generator. So I will leave their website linked in the description box so you can reach out to them directly. So I'll catch you on the next one. And until then, remember, whatever you do, whatever life throws at you, you keep on dancing. Bye.